Knight, now taking in over $314 million in just 10 days. Gotta be kidding me. You're not going to see Mamma Mia? This makes Batman the fastest movie ever to reach the 300 million mark, and the popularity of the movie, you know, people are embracing the themes, and people love it. But have you actually stopped to think about what the themes really are? Andrew Klavan, he is the author of Empire of Lies, and he wrote a fantastic op-ed for the Wall Street Journal with his take on what Batman is really teaching us. Andrew, you're saying Batman good, Bush Batman.
That's about it, you know. Yeah. And it's actually pretty blatant. It's very obvious. It didn't take a lot of deep thinking. I mean, Batman has to fight a terrorist, has to stoop to violence to fight a violent terrorist, has to use some surveillance techniques that kind of push the boundaries of civil rights. But the most important correlation is that Batman has to sacrifice his popularity and become hated and despised by the very people he protects. And that's kind of the most poignant thing about the movie, and it's the most poignant thing about the Bush administration.
You don't think that the writers actually were writing it that way, right?
You know, I actually do think that they were thinking about issues, about the issue of terrorism. They called the Joker a terrorist, and they were thinking about issues of surveillance and civil rights, and they couldn't help but really put Batman in that situation. It's a post-9/11 film.
I'm sorry, but I'm so riddled with ADD. Are you sitting a very long way away from that bookcase, or are you like at a children's library? Those look like very small books behind you.
I only read very small books.
Very small books.
I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, okay. It's like a bathroom reader library that you're sitting in front of.
Exactly.
So when you printed this article, because it's true. I mean, it's like, you know, it's conservatives. The message is the same in every superhero movie. It's Spider-Man, it's Batman, it's Lord of the Rings. It's all of them.
It's very strange.
Yeah, you watch them and you're like, wow, this really kind of is what I believe in, but it's always fiction. There's never a single Hollywood movie where they'll be that clear about right and wrong, good and evil, outside of fiction.
There's no question about it that conservatives have to wear a mask in Hollywood. As you're saying, anytime we make a film with straightforward conservative values, it's a fantasy film. When we make realistic films, especially about the war on terror, suddenly they come up with this stuff like in the Valley of Elah, rendition, redaction. I mean, even the names of the pictures sound the same. And they walk in this terrible lockstep ideology where America is as bad as the terrorists, our soldiers are the bad guys, and our soldiers are abusive, instead of the truth. They have to put on a mask to tell the simple truth, which is that we are the good guys and they're the bad guys.
Lone Survivor is coming out. Did you read Lone Survivor by any chance? Marcus Luttrell?
I have not.
Oh, you've got to read that. Andrew, you'd love it.
Right.
It's coming out as a movie. They're making it now in Hollywood, and it's about SEAL Team 10. All of them died except for one. You know the story now?
I remember the story, yes.
Okay, so it's an amazing story. I'm just wondering, if I were in Hollywood and I were making that story, and the guy who survived and fought off 200 members of Al-Qaeda, I'm wondering if I screw the story up, how long it is before I start looking over my shoulder for Marcus Luttrell in the middle of the night. You know what I mean?
One can only hope, because they've made story after story about abuse of soldiers raping Iraqi women, and not one about all the soldiers, the much greater majority of soldiers who have done heroic things, suppressing this vicious ideology and helping these people to become free.
You realize that you're going to, I mean, you've got to be a pariah. You've done so many things in Hollywood, and everybody loved you until you came out and said, you know what? I mean, look, here's the deal. And your new book, Empire of Lies, which, by the way, I hear is doing very well.
Yes, thanks to you and your viewers.
Yeah. Thanks to the viewers. In Empire of Lies, you take it and say, look, this is what conservatives are, and let's just be a conservative. Let's just say it out loud. You're not going to... Go ahead.
I think it's really important. I think it's so important in the arts that we start to get out of the straitjacket of this ideology, because the ideology does not describe real life. And one of the things an artist has to do is describe the experience of being human in the real world.
But you know what? Real life doesn't express real life anymore. Barack Obama was in Germany last week saying, this wall, you know, and if we would just all come together, more walls will come down. Excuse me. The reason why Germany is free is because we kicked Germany's ass, and then we scared the Soviet Union and ran them into bankruptcy. That's why the wall came down, not love and flowers and peaceniks. Andrew, thanks a lot. Hey, we got to run. I'm sorry I'm up against a break. We'll have you back. Coming up, How I personally, and you don't have to call me a hero, you don't have to, you may, how I personally save thousands of horses from being shot and killed. It's just the kind of guy I am. It's how I roll. I'll explain next.